Hello everybody and welcome to the Alert podcast. Today we have Aquarius Gambling Charity with us. Ronnie, say hello.
Hello.
Sam from Aquarius.
Hi there.
And Tiff from Aquarius. So we're going to start with a couple of questions, but first of all, Tiff, can I come to you please? So can you start by telling us about your role at Aquarius and the work that you do with the women affected by gambling harm?
Okay, so I'm one of the outreach practitioners that work for Aquarius. We've got a few other practitioners which are complex need practitioners that support with one-to-one support if anyone comes into service. But the main job as an outreach practitioner is to go around making people aware of the effects of problematic gambling and where they can get support from. I also facilitate a female group as well. So anyone who have actually come into service and want additional support as well, just to kind of talk about where they're at within their recovery journey, we can do that as well within our group. We do cover around so the whole of West Midlands and West Merseyside, and we kind of just maybe set up stands at any event. So we've gone to loads of festivals and things like that, and also even going to shopping malls, just so that people can know where they can get the support from. I also work within the criminal justice system as well, so work at approved premises providing support, awareness, but also one-to-one sessions as well, just if they need any more information about where they need to go in life, kind of about communication and relationship and things like that. So yeah. Thank
you for that. Sam, welcome. Can you introduce yourself and share with us what you do at Aquarius Gambling, please?
So yes, my name is Sam Perry. I'm one of the gambling outreach practitioners, same as what Tiffany does. My role is to cover mainly sort of doing a lot of talks to a lot of charity, a lot of people. So that's public, non-professionals and professionals as well. I also I do the YP section, so the young people in gambling, so raise awareness around that as well. And yeah, I'm just generally a busybody around getting everywhere and anywhere.
Brilliant,
really,
brilliant.
Yeah.
And you're going to share your story with us later, aren't you?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I'm also lived experience through gambling harms as well, so
yeah.
Some stories for that.
Brilliant, thank you. You're very welcome, both of you. So Tiff, I'm going to start with you, please. So can you tell us, why do people suddenly see gambling adverts on social media after searching or looking up for things like sports events?
So over the last couple of months, I've been doing a little bit of research in regards to, because a lot of people were coming and saying when I'm out in the public, like every time I've maybe gone onto a website or something like that, I keep getting advertisements. So I did some research and there was a terminology that came out around in 2018 called surveillance capitalism. And what surveillance capitalism is, it's where it gathers your algorithm data basically. So that's your personal data and your behavioural data. Yeah. So what your personal data is basic things of like your name, your gender, your date of birth. And when we're talking about behavioural data, that is having a look, for example, if you've gone onto any social media sites and you've liked anything, or if you are following a certain individual. So that's what's classed as behavioural data. Now, when that data is added together, what kind of happens is that's where the digital footprint starts. So for example, let's say you are looking at a pair of jeans on a particular website, and you've had a look on it, and then all of a sudden you start to see a lot of trousers coming up. Now loads of people will say, oh, do you know what, I'm sure the phone's listening to me. But what's actually happened is it's gathered all of your data that you've been doing for many, many years, your digital footprint, and then it's going to kind of guess what is the best tailored information to provide for you. Now the issue there now is when somebody is a problematic gambler, if they've gone onto gambling websites, they're going to continuously keep getting adverts, and the adverts are going to be from what they've been searching. Not only is it what they've been searching, it's tailored. So for example, they'll know that you're a female, they'll know how old you are, they'll know what maybe type of colours you like, and they'll specifically tailor that to the advertisements when it comes to the adverts of gambling. So that is the problem there. And what I'm noticing is while facilitating the female groups, a lot of females are saying that when they're online and gambling, how they started was through the advertisement which they saw. So they've gambled once and left it there, but then they've had the advertisement. Now the problem here is as well, when we're talking about young people, maybe on Snapchat or Instagram, what will happen is their algorithm will completely change and all their adverts will be tailored to what's it called, problematic gambling adverts. So anything from Paddy Power or anything like that. So that is the problem there. But the whole reason of making people aware of that is that they know, because a lot of people say maybe if they've gambled, like, oh, it's a sign, or and it's not actually a sign. What it is, it's your algorithm being changed. We all know it, but knowing that terminology just makes us sit down and think a little bit more and just be more aware.
Okay, so that phrase was surveillance capitalism.
Surveillance capitalism. It came out in 2018. There was some PhD students who were trying to work out about what was kind of going on in regards to, there's a really good book.
Was it Shona Zibowiff or something like that?
Yes, thank you, Sam. I'm very bad with pronunciation, so thanks for that, Sam. Yeah. And there's a book out there, I think it's called Good Data, and it goes into in-depth detail about how your data is collected, and literally they're saying it's like it's welfare basically. Like it's quite bad, because the thing is, once you've noticed it, you'll realise that a lot of things that you have purchased has not been your choice. And the thing is, that's when our choice is taken away from you. That's basically manipulation. So before, you might have had a choice of saying, right, I'm just going to gamble. Maybe I've gone to the casino, that's it. Years ago with product marketing, you see maybe an advertisement, that's it, you've moved on. Whereas this, it's continuously 24/7, because our main thing is our phone. When you have a look at how many hours, I don't know about you, how many hours you've been on your phone.
So they've done studies of how long 11 to 17-year-olds have been on their phone, and they reckoned per day it's 3 to 4 hours per day. I mean, if you're on your phone 3 to 4 hours a day, constantly looking at your phone, I mean, I do on a daily basis, where I look at my phone, if it's on Facebook or social media in general, doom scrolling on TikTok as well, which is another big one as well. That's when the advertisements essentially come up. So even if you're so think about, if you're of that age of 11 to 17-year-old, football's a big thing. Sports is a big thing as well. You start to discover sports, and you start to get live reports coming in from football sort of thing, football apps as well. And once you get those football apps in, that's when gambling websites go, oh, maybe we can try and get a little bit of information in, and that's when the adverts come across on their Facebook and their TikTok pages of, when you got Paddy Power going, join us for Cheltenham this weekend, this sort of things like that. But it's that excitement. Or you get Ray Winston come on your thing saying Harry Kane to score the next throw-in or score the next goal or something like that. And it's that sort of what they add to it again. And someone who's got a gambling problem, like it's easy to sort of try and ignore it, but if you've got it constantly in your face 24/7, it's quite difficult to try and escape.
It sounds like it. It sounds like this terminology, this surveillance capitalism, is actually meaning that there is no respite from it, because our phones now do everything for us. Email, our banking, contacting everybody. So you can't get away from it.
They reckon that the UK, that 96% of people own mobile phones.
Yeah.
The 4% are like old age pensioners and people like that. It's almost being technophobic, if you will, because they don't want to use mobile phones. My dad's the same. He got offered to do online banking the other day, so I ain't doing that, but I'm happy with my mobile phone.
Yeah. Thank you. So we'll remember that term, surveillance capitalism. We'll be able to now watch out for it. Whenever we think our phone's so clever, it's showing me all these things, we know what it is. All right. So can I ask, and Tiff, again, I'm going to direct the question to you. Has there been an increase in female gamblers?
So this one is, I'm so glad that you asked this question, is gambling, problematic gambling, has always kind of been seen as a male-dominated activity. Now, over the years, it has increased, and we saw a large increase, especially since 2020. Now, I don't know if everyone remember what happened in 2020. You know, we had COVID-19. So a lot of people were furloughed, a lot of activities that females probably usually do, they stopped. And what happened is a lot of people started to go online, and it wasn't just with with females, this was with male as well, but this is where we saw the large surge of complete increase of problematic gambling. Now, when we're talking about the type of problematic gambling, or the type of gambling, I should say, that females usually would interact it with, it's more going into chat rooms. So whereas for male, they've got like sports and things like that, when it comes with females, a lot of them will probably end up in like maybe bingo forums or tombola forums, where they can obviously speak and communicate. I'm a woman, we all like to talk, like to have a little bit of a gossip. So this is what is really, that's kind of what sucked a lot of people in. Also as well, the issue here was a lot of, there was a large increase in domestic violence as well during 2020. A lot of people were stuck at home and struggling to maybe get on with their partners and things like that. So a lot of people using those chat rooms as a respite. Yeah. So it became habitual. And when it became habitual, it then started to become a habit. And that's where we saw the increase in female problematic gambling, and it's kind of stayed there. It's rising really quickly. We're having a lot of times when I'm facilitating the women's group, is saying how they did kind of get stuck in during 2020, or they might have just maybe have done it more, I would say, on the stage of recreational. Yeah. But during 2020, that's when the surge happened, with a large increase, because there was nothing else to do. And a lot of people, some people did have a disposable income if they were getting furloughed. You're no longer going to the pub, yeah. You're not doing your normal activities. People are staying up. There was a large increase also with drugs and alcohol, as well, drinking at home. So that was kind of just added into it as well. So yeah, there is, it's an issue that is not kind of decreasing, it is increasing as well. And also as well, years and years and years ago, when we didn't obviously have, we didn't depend so much on our phones and technology, majority of males would be going to betting shops and things like that, and it wasn't really seen as a female activity. Whereas now online, majority of the females that are kind of sucked into problematic gambling, I would say 80% are usually, it's on the phone, it's not going to the casinos, it's not going to the booking shops.
So it essentially comes down to that, what you said, of it was a male dominated thing, and almost the shame stigma went around with it, because when you come across of a female who goes gambling or goes to the bookies and things like that, they're seen as bad mothers or too vulnerable. But when you're online, especially in these bingo chat rooms as well, you can be whoever you want. There's no one knows who you are, and it's a strange thing. I used to work for an online casino as well, so having that sort of outlook on how we used to get female gamblers from the bingo side to the slot side was it was very genius in how they did it, but it was quite sneaky as well. So what they'd do, let's say if you signed up to one of the websites but the company ran, the admin will know everything about you. They will know your date of birth, they'll know where you live, they know all that, but they become your best friends. They will ask you of, how's your day been, or how was your weekend? I went out to celebrate my friend's birthday this weekend. Oh, it's your birthday coming up soon, isn't it? Yeah, it's my birthday. In the next 2 weeks, you got anything planned for it? No, I haven't got anything planned for it. Oh, okay, I'll tell you what, celebrate your birthday. Why don't we give you some free spins? And that's it. And as soon as they got you in that thing, that sort of trap of, because everyone loves the word free.
Yes.
If I gives you free spins, perfect.
Yeah.
You can win up to £10 or £20, free 20 quid.
Yeah.
Why should you do that? Exactly. However, so you win that 20 quid, now you've got to pay an extra 20 quid to get that 20 quid out. So you've got to pay that dividend to get it out. So that's how they get you in. And plus, because you've agreed to sign up to us, every now and again you'll get marketing schemes of saying, oh, if you deposit £20, you can get 50 free spins up to this. And it's almost like how Temu does it now, or Shein, with the price off sort of offers. You see them for like £1.50 or something like that. £10 free spins for £10 for 50 free spins, limited time only. And that plays on in your head, and the psychology starts to begin with it. And that's when it comes to female gamblers, that's the increase that has happened in recent time. It starts off on bingo, then it quickly shifts onto it's so quick now it shifts you onto there as well.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of the ladies that I've spoken to when facilitating the women's group is, as you said, they will start off in the bingo. And there was a particular lady that she mentioned, she said she remembers an advertisement, it was Cleopatra, and it was slots. And she said she just pressed on it just for, fun, and that took 17 years of her life. So, she obviously, when I say 17 years, she'd been gambling before, but when I say, with the slots, to be fair, it was about 9 years straight. Every single day, she said, the first thing she did when she woke up, it was thinking about gambling. Before she went to bed, it was gambling. If she couldn't sleep, maybe somebody might go downstairs and have a drink. She'd go down and have some water. She'd be going down with the phone. She said she'd be on the toilet, the phone's there. It was constant. And this is the problem with problematic gambling. It's because it's so accessible. It's like your phone, we have our phone, our laptops, everything with us constantly. Yeah. There is no break. Whereas, for example, the betting shops, it closes. At a certain time, so this is the issue of where, just making people aware of the severity of problematic gambling, of where it's something where it never turns off. It's 24 hours and you can do it at any time, wherever you are in the world. Yeah. For example, if you go to a different country, maybe your issues might be with drugs, it's going to be harder for you to find a dealer.
Yeah.
Whereas with gambling, you just need to pick up your phone. Yeah. And so you've got your phones, people don't even need to know what you're doing. You're on your break, you're sitting there and you're doing the spin. So the severity of problematic gambling is something that it's just, we need to let people be aware of how dangerous it is and how it's kind of affecting our community.
Yeah. Definitely, and that's what you're here for today, isn't it? To raise awareness. This brings me nicely onto the question of why is gambling so addictive? So Tiff, would you like to start with that?
So the issue here with why it's so addictive is gambling works exactly the same as if you was to have a problematic behaviour with drugs and alcohol. So there's something called the craving brain. And when you start to take, for example, cocaine or do maybe a particular activity like problematic gambling, what you do is you are flooding your brain with a high amount of dopamine. Okay. Now the problem with that is when you've received that high amount of dopamine, your reward system gets completely distorted. It's no longer working on a normal baseline level. It's now needs, the only way for it to hit and to get that happy, feelings and that serotonin feelings and that high dopamine is from replacing that by doing that activity again. So, for example, if you have taken a line of cocaine, for example, after a while, you're going to have to start to increase because you're not going to get that amount of dopamine hit that you got when you first started. It's like chasing a high. And that exactly happens the same when you are gambling as well. Exactly the same way as how your brain works with drugs and alcohol is exactly the same way how it works with gambling. You will continually have to increase your bet. You will continually have to spend more time there and things. And then there's also another thing is what happens within problematic gambling is something called polyuse. And this terminology is where you will move from one problematic behaviour to another. So maybe you might have been had an issue with drinking, and then maybe you have an issue with, you might have changed from drinking to cocaine, and then from cocaine to gambling. Then all of a sudden now you've got 3 problematic behaviours. And when you start to drink, you get your brain starts to, remember the feelings of when it's taking the cocaine. So then that's going to make you want to take cocaine. Then when you start to take cocaine, that's going to make you want to gamble. And this can happen with other things as well. There's a lot of people that also have come into service. They might have had issues with maybe food addiction, porn addiction. I've got a lot of people that is mentioning once they've taken cocaine, they've gone onto the issue of wanting to, go into a porn website. That's exactly the same what happens with gambling. Once you've put that memory into your brain, It's like muscle function, and it will continually keep doing it. It's habitual until you break that cycle. Now, if you don't know the ins and outs of how the craving brain works, you'll just keep thinking, I just want to stop this behaviour and I just can't do it. But what's happening is you've built up a tolerance in your brain, and your brain is only going to be survival through that activity. So before, you might have got some dopamine from cleaning your house and seeing, oh look, I've got my nice show cushions here and this and that. You're not going to get dopamine from that now. The only way you're going to get dopamine is from the activities you've done. And if you've used all three problematic behaviours, then that's a higher increase of dopamine that's being flooded into your brain, and normal activities is no longer going to be able to hit it. And that's where we're getting people stuck into this long pattern of maybe being 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, their whole life stuck into this. So yeah, that's the terminology with polyuse. It's going from one addictive behaviour, one problematic behaviour to another.
Thank you. Sam, have you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, majority of the gambling industry do play off on that dopamine hit. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have played a slot machine or anything like that, but when you get a sort of, they call it a feature spin. So how the feature spin works, it's a sort of bonus sort of game, if you will. They'll purposely play like a heart monitoring sort of back in the background. It's very subtle, but it's still there because that near hit, that sort of like that heart rate going on. Same if you go to a casino as well. They've always got the sound of someone winning big because it plays up to that dopamine hit as well. So there's that thing of like that false hope and that sort of like, oh, I nearly got that hit then. A lot of TV, they do on TV where they show roulette. It's really funny to see because what they'll do is they'll slow the ball right down before it goes into the actual pocket.
Okay.
And it'll be that heartbeat as well, sort of
Yeah.
sound, and it will land in the thing. And you think, oh, and it just carries on like normal conversation then.
Yeah.
But it's that sort of, they're feeding off that dopamine as well.
Wow, there's a lot to take in. So for somebody who doesn't understand gambling harm, what does it actually look like, the harm in everyday life?
So obviously everyone knows when it comes to problematic gambling, the main one is financial harm. That is one of the main ones that we have. But what people don't usually see is the effects that it has on your mental health. You know, there's breakdowns in relationships because this becomes your frontal, it's everything in your life gets pushed to the back, and it's all about gambling, especially if you're doing it online as well. You've got the phone with you constantly. So you've got the harms of that. You've got the harms of even getting slipped into other problematic behaviours, as I've already mentioned as well. You put yourself at risk in, very risky situations. We've had some people as well, for example, we did have one case where there was a lady, she ended up going into OnlyFans so that she could actually afford to pay for, her issues with problematic gambling. But when it comes to harm, Sam, I'm going to kind of push it over to you because you've probably got...
Oh, cheers, man.
Yeah, you've got the experience, so...
It's. I mean, it all varies in what the gambling is, but it all sort of comes down to, like you said, the financial harm, because I think we were discussing earlier about the false hope that it offers for a lot, because everyone wants to be well off in life. They want the easy lifestyle, and gambling seems, I think, one of the funniest things I ever heard was a professional gambler, I say that with high quotation marks, and they say the word of, how many banks can you go to with £100 and potentially walk out with 1,000 from interest?
None.
Exactly. but it's that sort of false hope that gambling offers. So financial, it becomes into it, and going back to that sort of dopamine levels that I was talking about, where the bookies will sort of have heart monitor plays and casinos will have all sort of things like that. So essentially you're chasing that sort of big win that everyone's after. Relationships as well. So it's a funny story. I was talking to one of the complex need practitioners actually who work for Aquarius, and a lot of affected others are fortunately females that come through, and they say that when they found out their partner was gambling, they'd rather found out that they were cheating because they know how to deal with the cheating instead of the gambling, because it shows the same signs as someone's cheating. As, what are you doing on your phone? Oh, nothing.
Okay.
And it breaks down in relationship and communications, because that trust goes then. That trust of like, what are they doing? Are they spending all my money? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? The criminal justice as well. A lot of money laundering goes on in bookmakers and things like that. Tons of it. Like, if you think about taking £2,000, so how they do it is they'll give someone £2,000 who owe them money, and they'll say, right, go to the bookies, put £2,000 on this horse. It's not going to run. It's void. Now you've got a digital ticket showing that you have, So essentially, you got £2,000 sort of get away with it. There are ways. They are sort of sitting there trying to sort of come up with ways to get around this, but there's always gaps in the market for it to happen.
Of course there is. Where there's a will, there's a way.
100%.
And it's money, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, money makes the world go round.
Yeah. It breeds certain behaviours.
Yeah.
You know, hence we've got this issue. What does Aquarius Outreach Team do in supporting the people that are affected by gambling? So you talked about the harm, the other harm, meaning the partners of people who are gambling.
Yeah.
So what does and this is your department, isn't it? Outreach.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So what we do at the moment, we're essentially going to different communities, trying to reach different ethnic communities as well, to raise that awareness. Because when it comes to gambling as well, unfortunately, it is seen as a white male thing, unfortunately. But I say to a lot of people that all the time, it doesn't matter about your religious beliefs and care about your
doesn't discriminate.
gender. It doesn't discriminate. It will get you. If no matter how much it is, it will get you somewhere down the line. And it's because I speak to a lot of people from the Muslim community, and they say that a lot of their sort of family and friends gamble, and they're like, but it's haram, and it's kind of like, but like I say, it does get them somewhere down the line. But because I don't know much about religion, because you're more the religious sort of side, is it? So when, like I said, if it's us who's got a gambling problem, the white people, Caucasian people, that's got that gambling problem, they can sort of go get support for it. But when it comes to that Muslim sort of faith,
it's very stigmatised, because I kind of specialise with ethnic minority and females. That's kind of my main aim with as outreach. I have really struggled breaking through, because a lot of it's stigmatised. It's very stigmatised, and it's like, no, this is not what happens. Fair enough. But you will have where I will go onto stands and stuff like that, and what I do is I'll count how many leaflets and stuff that I've left, and you will, if I come off the table, things will take. And this is why with us, what we're kind of doing is a lot of our merch that we have, a lot of our posters, we've got some stickers and stuff like that, which I will probably show you a bit later, is we have a QR code on there, so it's seconds. Somebody can scan it in seconds before anyone sees it, and then they can get into get into service and self-refer themselves like that. Or just the fact that knowing that we're Aquarius, they can Google it and then they can come into service. Majority of people who do have issues with problematic gambling will not come up to the table and ask. Whereas if I'm vocally talking about it and they overhear, then that allows them to come in. So that's why we do go, like I've gone to churches, I have been to a few mosques as well. And I've been to a few temples as well, just to make people aware, just so that they can do it in their own time. A lot of people who are coming in as well, they're affected others, so that they can contact us as well and get the support and come into service as well, just for themselves, and just say, I have an affected other, either a friend, a family, a partner or foe, and I need that support.
That's brilliant that you're offering that service.
And also we have some of the leaflets in different languages as well, so we have them in Punjabi, Urdu, Hindi,
Polish,
Romanian, and simple Chinese. We're getting some in Arabic as well.
Yeah, we are getting some in Arabic. Because
we've sussed out that they're sort of some of the big people who do gamble.
Yeah. And it's just making it, just as diverse as possible, and just letting everybody know that we're an accessible service.
Brilliant. But people can self-refer.
They can self-refer.
So that's first and foremost. They can self-refer, and even if you're affected, they can. Affected by, you're not the gambler, your partner is, you can get support, even if they haven't self-referred. So even if they're still in denial, you can still get support. That's brilliant. Thank you. So Tiff, can you talk about the link between gambling and the criminal justice system? What are you seeing in your work?
So at the moment I am working alongside the criminal justice part in regards to with Aquarius. So what we've kind of noticed is that there is a lot of people that have problematic issues with problematic gambling when in prison, whereas when you're in prison you can get support for drugs and alcohol, and say you've committed a crime that is related to that, then you can get some support. However, there wasn't anything when it came to problematic gambling. So we've kind of gone into prisons where we're providing workshops about the effects of problematic gambling, and also we've piloted a new thing at the moment where our complex need practitioners are going into the criminal justice system and actually providing one-to-one sessions with individuals who have issues with problematic gambling, and that they can get support obviously if when they come out, if they are within the West Midland or West Mercia area. But what I've kind of noticed as well myself, because I have a master's in clinical criminology, so I kind of really wanted to kind of work as much as I can within the criminal justice side with problematic gambling. There's a report here from University of Stafford, and it kind of just goes into detail about the report of gambling harms and in the criminal justice system. Now it does mention, even though we have said that's an increase in female gambling, there isn't so much of an issue when it comes to female gambling within prisons. However, there is a large situation where there is issues with problematic gambling within the male population within prisons. Now the issue that we're having there is people who are committing crimes that are related to their problematic gambling, they're not getting the right support. So there is something called, is it GamLearn? I'll just have to remember, Sam.
Yeah, so GamLearn is if you've committed a crime due to gambling, you can go to GamLearn. They can provide you with solicitors, I think, or lawyers to help you with. So it's people. So like with a lot of people and gambling, like they'll take money out of so fraud in the sense of taking money out of their businesses, things like that, and when they get caught for it, GamLearn is there to provide you support through your journey, for offering you lawyers, offering you things like that as well.
That's amazing. Can I ask, what's the percentage of people that are struggling with gambling? What's the percentage of people that are actually in services getting support?
So when we're talking about that, there is some statistics that's out there where if somebody has an issue with problematic gambling, there's only 3%.
Wow.
3% of people that are actually getting support, and then the remaining is it's hidden. Okay. So people are coming into service and people are getting support, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. And it's usually when people are coming into service, it's when they're at dire need, where they're maybe losing their home, they're losing their businesses, or it's actually come to the point of where somebody's had to ask them to come into service, or their health has really declined. So when that happens and people have come into service, it's usually like their last call, Okay. So when
it's 3%?
It's 3%, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but going back into the criminal justice system as well, is what we are providing is we're going to approved premises, which are probably known as, people might know as halfway houses. So it's when people have come out of prison that they're getting support. So we'll go in there and we'll provide either 5 to 6 week sessions talking about obviously the effects of problematic gambling, and also talking about effective communication skills, because a lot of people that have within the criminal justice system have not maybe had that support, especially if they've been in and out. They might have had issues during their development years, or they might have issues with trauma, and they've not been able to give those basic needs on about communication, relationship, and how to self-regulate. And so that's kind of the information that sometimes we provide when you come into service. But if we can just give a baseline and just give them a overall to have an understanding, it's not even just providing people with the support who have issues with problematic gambling, it's people providing the community who need it most, the most vulnerable people within our community, to kind of understand what they can get if they are more understanding about communication, about healthy relationships, about even basic things of like, you know, basic nutrition, what to eat and things like that, and mindfulness. So that's something which I work around, and it's something that we've had quite a lot of positive feedback around it, and talking about the craving brain as well. A lot of people there don't understand that cycle of the dopamine. So by explaining that and breaking that down to them, they're starting to get more knowledge, and then obviously taking it upon themselves to do their own research. So yeah.
Brilliant. And I suppose that's helping with the shame. The shame of the problem when you understand.
Yeah.
It's education, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Sounds like Aquarius are doing great work. Does it? Sounds brilliant, honestly. Before I come to Sam's story, I just want to ask about the link between suicide and gambling, because the stats are that more men than women are taking their own life every year, and obviously the stats are that, you know, still more men are gambling, have a gambling habit, though obviously women's gambling is increasing. So is there a link? What is the link between suicide and gambling?
There is. So I've just managed to get some statistics up here, and basically we've got a lot when it comes to gambling related harms. We've got between 250 to up to 650 gambling related suicide occur each year in the UK alone, and for every completed suicide, there are 10 to 25 attempts. We've also got as well 4% to 11% of total suicides in the UK are related to problematic gambling harms. And then when we're talking about public health concerns here, we've got gambling related harms are a significant public health issue within the annual economic and cost estimated between 241.1 million to 961 million. So that's the effect it's having on us in regards to our public health. And these statistics basically, they highlight the need for the increased awareness around problematic gambling, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, they know about the issues when it comes to suicide, but they might think, oh, it's a mental health issue. Yes, because if you are involved in problematic gambling, there usually is something to do with that issue with mental health, but not actually realising that it is problematic gambling, and just think, right, that person was depressed, but why were they depressed? What was it? So yeah.
Thank you. I think it was important just to highlight that. Thank you. So that brings me on to Sam.
Yes.
Hello again, Sam.
Hello.
Can I ask you to share your lived experience of gambling, please?
Yeah. So it all started, I lived in Leicester for about 2.5 years, and it was introduced to me, gambling was. A friend of mine sort of said, come on, let's go to the bookies and have a quick gamble. I was like, yeah, go on then, might as well. So went to the bookies, and it's not just me that it happens to. It's I've watched someone talk about this once, and I was like, oh yeah, that was the first reason why I got him into gambling. It's always the first big win that gets you, and it's big win is how you define big win. So let's say if you put a fiver in and £100, big win for a lot of people. That's a massive win. So you get that first big win. So I got the first big win. I was like, oh, that felt all right, that did. But I got it while playing that game. So that's when it starts to reprogram your brain. So I live at Leicester, I was gambling a bit, and I was introduced to online sort of gambling. I'd be in casinos till about 5 o'clock in the morning. I had no job or anything up there, so I was just spending my savings, just sort of gambling away. Then I sort of had like a mini breakdown when I was up in Leicester. I said, I can't do this anymore, I need to move back home. But I managed to take the addiction with me, so it came back home. So while I was out there, I was looking for work, and I found a job at William Hill's. I know how to pick my careers, obviously. So I started working at William Hill's, and that's when things started getting a lot worse for me, because of course you're sat behind the desk every day listening to horse racing bets, listening to football tips, listening to dog racing. You've got this constant buzz of just winning and people losing and people. So you build like this almost an immunity to betting and what the value of money is. So I used to be counting out thousands of pounds a day and it just meant nothing to me. It was just, yeah, there you go, done. And on my lunch break, so I'd have an hour lunch break and I would walk, because I weren't allowed to gamble in my own bookies, but I was allowed to gamble in another bookie. So I worked for William Hill, I weren't allowed to bet in any William Hills around my area or anywhere in the country, but I was allowed to go bet in Ladbrokes or Paddy Power's, which are around the corner. So I'll be in there, I'll be having bets on for horses whilst on the slot machines, waiting around like that. So I'd be spending about £500 a day just gambling away. Then when I get back home, I'd spend a bit more on that on video games. So like your FIFA packs, Fortnite and Roblox weren't out of them, but I guarantee I would have, because I wanted to get that sort of dopamine hit. I wanted to get that sort of rush I was feeling. But as you explained earlier with the dopamines, that you need to try and aim higher and higher constantly. So the money would increase. So what initially started off with me spending £20 made me, I spend about £1,000. I'll get paid from my work, then it'd be gone by within 24 hours, just because I'd spend it on gambling. And every winning I'd get would go back onto gambling as well. So it was a lose-lose situation. So essentially with me, it was, and I'd be really sneaky with it as well. I'd ask what days my dad would be working, where he was working, and where he was working. I never drove at the time, so getting buses up to, I live in Worcestershire, so I'd be getting the bus up to Redditch or Kidderminster or Droitwich just to avoid him and seeing what I was doing. I'd be sneaking around town if I was in Bromsgrove. And yeah, it kind of got that sort of seriousness where I was just spending thousands and thousands of pounds a month. I racked up within 2 years about £60,000. I hate to think how much I spent in the 7 years that I was gambling, probably in the hundreds, but it's easily done. And what made me get in contact with Aquarius, so before I go any further with this, I come from a Romany gypsy sort of background, so talking about emotions in the family, about mental health or anything like that is just man up, basically. Man up, shut up and get on with it. If you've got an addiction, you deal with it, sort of thing. And that's what so I couldn't go to my dad about it, couldn't go to any of my friends about my issues, because it was seen as, like I used to tell my cousin that I had, when I say cousin, he's like a third cousin removed, gypsy cousin, should we say. But it was that sort of, I think I'm depressed. And the first thing he said to me was like, just be happy. What have you got to be upset about? Not understanding it, because like I said, it's not, depression isn't a word that associated, even to this day, like I've worked for Aquarius for about 2 years now, learning about addiction. And I was explaining to my dad about how addiction works. He just goes, well, it's over my head. Because it's that sort of thing of like, but I understand it more. So going back to the suicide rate as well, I was stuck at the M5. This is one of the reasons I wanted to sort of need to get support for it. So I was stood at the M5 bridge up by where I live. So there's 2 bridges round by me. There's, I'll say it because it's quite, there's one called the Show-Off Bridge and there's one called the Hidden Bridge. So the Show-Off Bridge is the M42 bridge, because everyone can see you and everyone wants to sort of, and it's, if you go around, there's always signs from Good Samaritans and things like that. But the bridge I went to, because it was so well hidden, it's about exactly the same height, but it's really well hidden. So I went to that one because I didn't want anyone to know about it. I was hanging over the edge, and the only thing that stopped me that day was not telling anyone, because of that sort of, what would my dad think? Suicide's never been a thing in my family. It's never, no one's ever sort of essentially taken their life. So why should I be the first? So I thought, I need to sort this out. I need to sort this gambling problem out. So the next day, I went to the bookies again to go spend some money gambling. So I've known about GamCare, because working for the bookies, you're supposed to know about these things. We have a duty of care to help people. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give them a call. So I gave them a call, and they went through a few things with me of like where my base and all this. I was like, I'm based in Bromsgrove in Worcestershire. Then there was talking about what sort of, how much I've been spending and all this and how much, and then they go, do you mind travelling up to Birmingham, where our office is based? So I had this thing, because when it comes to mental health and the NHS, you all these things about, they'll be, because I said I'll be in contact with you the next 24 hours. You think to yourself, yeah, whatever sort of thing, 24 hours ain't gonna bother with that. Less than 24 hours, I had a phone call from Aquarius, and they were saying, yep, we'll get you into that recovery sort of process. So I was like, oh, okay, that was quicker than I expected. Because I did initially ring up the NHS for mental health, but it took about 6 months to get. And by the time when you've got a gambling problem, by the time someone gets to you, it's too late. It's like, whatever, I've sorted it. It's not my issue anymore. And yeah, I was in that recovery process, and it was a journey in itself. Like, because when I finished working there, when I finished going to Aquarius to have my sort of one-to-ones and session things like that, I was still working for William Hill, so I was a battle with myself constantly. So eventually I passed my drive. Like, I was getting better, but the gambling was still there. It was still prevalent. Like, I was still looking at horse racing bets every day. So eventually I got another job opportunity come up, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to take that. Pass my driving test, I'm going to take that job. However, another great career choice from me. I was working for an online casino, but I was working, I know, yeah, it's just, I can't escape it at this point. So I went working there, and like, I started off as a complaint, so people would ring up. I'd ring up to help people, but it's mainly complaints, if anything. Like, so I had people ringing up complaining about sort of not getting the money and all that. But then a job opportunity came up for a safer gambling officer. Now for me, I can use my gambling addiction that I'm still having this journey through to help people along their journey. So I was doing that for about 1.5 years, 2 years. Then the company went bust, to which I was going to do a talk at one of the, because we're doing Safer Gambling Week actually, and they said, oh, do you mind doing a talk about your journey through gambling and how working for the industry is affecting you and how's it affected you? I said, yeah, no problem. So while I was doing that, I got in contact with Deb, who was my previous sort of practitioner. Now she's my sort of boss, which is quite weird to sort of get into. And it's essentially, so I got in contact with her and I said, oh, I'm doing this talk around gambling, my sort of journey. I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it. Do you have anything about how the brain works and what happens when you gamble? She sent me over the craving brain things, whole list of that coming over. And yeah, it was that sort of conversation we had around it. Then we were told the company was going bust, and I was like, oh. So I sent her a little cheeky email, because while I was working there, my morals changed. So I wanted to help people, but not for the business side of it. The reason we were helping for that, it was like, oh, we got to do this because we got to keep within the Gambling Commission rights. But I wanted to do it because I generally do care. So I got in contact with Aquarius and said, do you have any jobs going? And here I am.
Brilliant, brilliant. And now you're kind of living, you're aligning with your values.
Yeah.
Your values changed, so you changed your life and now you support people.
It's like doing the outreach is one of the things that I enjoy telling people the most. I don't tell them about the suicide attempts and all that, because I say attempt because I don't think I don't want to get too dark with it, because people can be quite triggered by it. Okay. So I essentially tell them that I've been through it and I've used Aquarius, and the amount of times that people have turned around to me and gone, you know what, I think I've got a gambling problem.
Yeah.
And they come forward and say sign me up, but put me into recovery.
Yeah. You mentioned the thoughts of suicide and standing at that bridge and thinking about whether you were going to do it or not, and obviously your family came into your mind at that time, but there's a lot of shame and stigma around mentioning the word suicide, isn't there? But addiction is mental health, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's mental health.
And it constantly plays off that as well. One thing I did forget to mention as well, being born autistic as well, which didn't help. So we see a lot of people with autism coming into it, and a lot of people with neurodiverse coming into our support service because it's flashing lights, it's fun. It should...
Dopamine.
Yes,
they're chasing dopamine.
It's the lights, it's the colours, do you know what I mean? That kind of attracts. And there's been research out there where they've actually got researchers to find which is the best colours, the best light to attract people who struggle with low dopamine. So this is it's all planned out and everything like that. So as I said, you are not given a choice. It's manipulation. When once you get sucked into that cycle, you are being manipulated. But the colours and the light and the sounds as well, as we mentioned before, it's a real struggle. But once you add them all together, there is literally no help out until you get support. And once, as I said, knowledge is key. Once you know these things, even for me, when I started to work for the company, once I started to be educated about it and realise the severity of it, it's just something where I feel like I have to work within this role because it's supporting people who need help, and you can see how easily they're manipulated to get into this.
And that word manipulation, that is what marketing isn't it? Like, we walk around our local supermarket and there's a reason why there's a basket at the end or right by the till, because actually that brand has asked to be promoted there and paid for that spot, and all the stuff on the end of the aisles, it's because we get to the end and we're picking up,
It seems to be that everything at the moment seems to be turning into gambling in general. So I was having this conversation with someone the other day about Temu and Shein at the moment are absolutely killing it in the markets. They've actually overtaken Amazon at the moment for consumers, but they're running a loss, but it's a tactical loss. So what they're doing, they're running a loss at the moment because with all this stuff that's going on in America at the moment, with the tariffs, there will be an increase later on down the line, but they've still got the customers in there. So when you go onto Temu, there's always like a roulette wheel or a game of chance to try and win certain percents off.
I've seen it.
Scratches.
I've seen it,
It's that gamification that they're introducing as well.
Sounds like a silly question, but can people gamble safely? Is it possible?
Yeah, gambling should be fun, and it is. We do a lot of events. I say we do. We do a lot of events, horse racing events.
Okay.
And we say to a lot of people, we're not here to ruin anyone's day. We're not here to turn around to people and say that don't gamble, because gambling should be seen as fun. I implored people to go to Cheltenham because Cheltenham it's a glorious day to go to Cheltenham. Same as Goodwood as well. It's glorious Goodwood for a reason. And it is, dress up for that occasion. Go out there. Take 50 quid with you, go and spend it, go have fun, go 50 quid for one drink, actually, by the way, I might mention. It costs a lot in Cheltenham. But it should be seen as fun. If you want to go to a casino, go to a casino, because casinos can be fun. It can be a night out. It can be enjoyable. What we're saying is, because like I said, we're not here to stop people having fun, but do you know where to go when you don't have control?
Yeah. And it's being aware, sorry to interject there, it's being aware of the dangers, being aware that if you are vulnerable, if you do struggle with your mental health, that you could slip into this as an escapism. Being aware, as I said, knowledge is the key. If you're just going straight into it, a lot of people said, can you gamble safely? Well, if you don't have other issues, then yes, but if you are a much higher risk to getting sucked into that cycle and having this issue with problematic behaviour. And this is the thing, once they've caught you and you're in that trap, knowing how to get out and knowing that you've got the problem and knowing where to get the support from, that's where we're there.
It's sort of like a spider's web, isn't it? The more you move, the more you get entangled up with it.
Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, you can. Even when you go to betting shops and things, especially the bookies, they do offer you sort of limits, even online as well. They put your limits on there. But I mean, they used to have the slogan saying, "When the fun stops, stop." And it's like, well, if you've got a gambling problem, it never stops.
Never stop. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what they used to say about. Was it? Oh God, I can't remember which president of America. His wife said, "Just say no to drugs."
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, just say no. if that worked, then there wouldn't be any problems.
Drink responsibly.
Yeah.
It's like, what is responsibility?
Yeah, and
like,
I think this is where it's so important about with mental health. It's like, if you are aware of your issues with your mental health, then and getting the right support, then yes. But then if you are going down that route of escapism, then I think personally you can't gamble safely, because you don't have that capacity at that time to be able to make informed decisions.
I agree with you. If your mental health isn't good, any kind of addictive behaviour is dangerous.
It's dangerous
to play with any.
Yeah, so it's being aware of yourself, and being authentically yourself, and stating, I have something that's not right with me at the moment. I can't be using other crutches. I need to go and get my mental health sorted, and then I maybe be able to indulge in other things. But until that is sorted, then I don't think you can gamble safely or do anything really safely in regards to that. So yeah.
But it starts with being honest with yourself, doesn't it?
And that's, I said, being authentic. It's really tough to look at yourself in the mirror. I've had my trials and tribulations itself, and literally saying, I have an issue, I have a problem. Yeah. There is something that I need to do to get that help.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. I'd like to finish up on one final question, and then I'll ask if there's anything else to add. But I wanted to talk about influencers and online personalities, and ask how they are affecting the trends and behaviours around gambling.
It's not affecting the so when we think of gambling in the current time that we're in the moment, people go, oh, it's 18 plus, when in actuality it's affecting a lot of the youngsters at the moment. So you think of video games, you think of things such as your Fortnites, FIFAs, Roblox even. So you have these influencers online with, so there's an influencer out there called XQC. So he was a video game streamer, he does all these things, but also he's a gambling sort of YouTube channel as well, where he does a lot of videos with Drake, who is a sponsor of State Casino, which is gambling as well.
Okay, all right. So it's big then.
Yeah, it's big. Very big.
It's a big issue. I think social media in general is, isn't
Social media is huge at the moment.
Definitely. Thank you so much both for being with us today. It's been really educational for me, and I'm sure everybody watching us today. Tiff, have you got any final thoughts before we wrap up today?
I think really just letting people know that if they do have any issues with problematic gambling, where they can get the support from, letting them know they're not alone. Loads of people are going through it, and just making sure that you're looking after your mental health.
Brilliant. Thank you. Sam?
I mean, just really stole my thunder there, but yeah, I think what Tiff said is perfect. I mean, if you are struggling, you can go onto our website, which is, or get in contact with our email address, which is gambling@aquarius.org.uk, and you can literally, we've had emails that just said, yep, sign me up, and it could be as simple as that.
Brilliant. All right, and it is that simple
then?
And
it is that simple. It's totally
Brilliant.
Free as well. Got to put that in there.
Totally free.
It's all
Brilliant.
free.
I think it's great what you guys are doing. I'm so glad you've been here today. Ronnie?
Yeah, it's been really good for me, because I haven't really had any gambling problems, but for the same reasons Tiff said, I knew I couldn't gamble. 100%. I've got addictive behaviours. Anything that gives me dopamine, anything from doing stupid stuff to drinking to cocaine to anything. My favourite drug was always more. So I knew, and I've got history in my family, I couldn't gamble. There's no way in the world I'd be allowed to gamble. And just hearing them stats of the people that are suffering in silence, and obviously the suicide rates, and I just wanted to reach out to you, Sam. It's been amazing listening to you today, and just hearing about what's happened with you and where you've come from, and to actually go through recovery and to be helping out in the situation you was at, actually working in bookies and online casinos, and still managed to find your way out of there and still shining a light to get other people to better their lives. Honestly, mate, I was moved by what you were saying today, really. So appreciate you, Sam. Thank you very much. And that's me.
That's lovely.
It was true though, was it? I couldn't think of a worse situation to get out of gambling than working in a bookies and then going to an online casino. As soon as you said that, I was like, this ain't going to end well.
We know how to pick my career choices, don't I?
Well done for making it hard for yourself, Sam. Well done.
Takes real strength. It takes real strength to be honest and then to share your story as well, because of the stigma, because of judgment, but the more we talk about addiction, the more we talk about our own personal stories, it just allows other people to, put their head up and say, yeah, I'm struggling too, and that's what it's all about. That's what this podcast is all about. It's about helping people.
Yeah. And like I said, I think just coming forward and just saying, if you do have a problem, don't be afraid.
Thank you. Thank you. That's us for today then. So you have been watching the Alert podcast with Aquarius Gambling. If you need support, then please reach out. Thank you for joining us today.